Hey everybody, I'm Joe Dog. Welcome to Stupid O'Clock. The news for the night is okay, there's no good news, so I'm just gonna go on. Alright, if you can't say nothing good, don't say nothing at all.
Cowboy Bob.
There's some good news. The
What?
Navy just tested one of their laser defense systems in the Persian Gulf. Have you heard about
In a
this?
related story, they rescued some Iranians who were floundering at sea.
On a boat that suddenly exploded. Oops.
Maybe they should test that in those pirate-infested waters off the east coast of Africa.
Lasers on full.
Enough, the boat
Stand by
contained
with the
a
light.
lot of hashish or heroin. I can't remember which. Hash.
Yeah. Inflation strikes again.
Yeah, you're talking about the Somali pirates. Where do these guys think that they could come off attacking a U.S. Navy warship?
You heard about the what was it? The Danish ship they attacked.
No.
Apparently, the Danish ship. Let's just say it looks a little less like a warship than most American warships. It looked a bit more like a cruise ship. The problem was there's about 50 commandos on board that ship. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it's just 50 Navy personnel. I'm talking about literally they had commando teams for rescuing people from ships that had been taken over by pirates on this ship. And they tried to take the ship, and the commando, it's like that scene from RoboCop where the guy walks into the restaurant, little greasy spoon place, pulls out the shotgun and says, "This is a stick up." And all the cops who were eating dinner at the restaurant all turn around to all their guns. There's like 50 of them now. There's like laser dots all over this guy. And one cop looks at him and goes, "So, what's it like to be a rocket scientist?" And then the cops got into an argument over who was going to quit eating and actually arrest the guy and take him to jail. That's it.
Sounds about right.
It's simple. You just shoot it, go ahead and finish your dinner, and then have the coroner come and pick up the.
And what's funny is while they're arguing about it, he's like slowly trying to creep back out of the restaurant. They're like, "You stand right there."
In any given community, if you find out when shift change is, say 11 p.m., you can commit whatever crime you want between 10:30 and 11 because ain't nobody gonna arrest you that close to shift change and be stuck there doing the paperwork. So if you want to commit a crime, do it for the last half hour before shift change.
Yeah, and now they got to take them all the way out to Silverdale in this town.
Yeah.
One of my writers on my magazine used to be a cop in New Orleans, and there was one street right down the middle of the street was a division between two different precincts. Anytime something happened there, they had to argue about whose jurisdiction it was in. It's like, what? 3/4 of his body is on your side of the line. You take it. You fill out the paperwork. Oh, Lord. He could tell. Well, it was one of the reasons he was a good writer. He could tell a lot of stories very, very well, just in person. So you can imagine having some writing skills. How well that translated is.
Dan, that sort of reminds me of a story when I was working the real job. There was a wreck on Morrison Springs Road. John and Lewis know where that's at. The wreck started in Red Bank, but ended in Chattanooga.
Yeah, because Red Bank is landlocked there, and Chattanooga is north and south of it.
And it was one of those that there was serious arguments over who was going to have to do the paperwork and who arrested the drunk driver.
I say wherever the initial contact occurred. But
Yeah, it started in Red Bank, but it ended in Chattanooga, and Red Bank was trying to pawn it off
That
on.
that might have been a case of hot pursuit there.
We get a few of those. That's kind of weird. The weird part about Chattanooga is that you're so close to the state line that it's ridiculously easy.
I literally live 500 feet into Georgia.
And works in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your backyard is the other side of your backyard is Tennessee.
No, it's 2 blocks, but it's 500 feet.
Oh, okay.
There was a bit. I remember this when I was a kid. One of the reasons we have a Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and a Georgia Bureau of Investigation is because of Chattanooga. It was because Chattanooga is right on the state line. There were so many crimes that were being committed in the area of Chattanooga that were going into Georgia that they were having to call the FBI.
Huh.
That's bank robbers would rob a bank in Chattanooga and heading to Georgia.
That's what I did.
Don't they know our sales tax is higher down here? Their money isn't going to be worth as much. Oh, did I tell y'all about the occasion we were leaving a LibertyCon in Chattanooga? Got on the highway and just got into the 75 mile an hour speed zone, and I had not even got up to the speed limit yet. 70 mile an hour speed zone.
70. Yeah, we don't have a 75. No wonder you were in trouble.
No. I had not even got up to the speed limit yet, and I get pulled over. And the cop says, I'm doing 90. Now, I know exactly why he pulled me over. I'm in the van. It's got fog lights and cameras all over the outside of it. I've got 2 GPSs on the dashboard, one old one that was about to be obsolete and one new one that was learning the route home from the old one. And I've got a backup camera that plays all the time as an additional rear view mirror, because it eliminates the blind spot from the side, the wing mirrors, as well as the one there on the windshield. You could actually see a car disappear in the wing mirror and see the nose of it. See the tail of it disappear in the backup camera and see the nose of it coming past your window at the same time. There's no blind spot that way. But he just was curious about why this thing was dressed up like Landmaster or some vehicle out of a sci-fi movie. And he gets up there and he's looking around, hoping maybe that one of these things on the dashboard is a cell phone, because the law against not having handhelds in your hand had just gone into effect that weekend. He was so disappointed. Ran my license, wound up that nobody wants me for anything, anywhere.
Oh,
except my wife.
That's kind of disappointing, ain't it? Oh.
Hey, no, this was an occasion when I was happy to be unwanted. Obscure. Okay. Yes. But, he gave me a warning, verbal warning, didn't even write me out a ticket or anything, and followed me for about 5 miles while I stuck to the speed limit, which I had not even got up to before when I got pulled over. And Lindsay's just going, you should have told him you weren't speeding. I'm going, honey, it's a cop. I ain't telling him nothing. I grew up in Georgia. You don't tell the police anything.
Yeah, she's been here long enough. She's been here long enough. She ought to know.
Yeah, well.
These ain't no bobbies.
Hello. Oh, John. I thought that was teacher.
Hey, John, don't put that on there. Well, now we're going to get community standards violation.
No, I capitalized it. They can't do it. But I used capital letters. What do you?
I've gotten about 8 or 9 of them in the last couple of days.
I ain't even looked to see how many I've got.
Well, if I got any, nobody ever told me. So,
Facebook keeps wanting me to do a COVID survey. I keep sending back. It says your COVID survey goes against our community standards.
We actually had to show our vaccine card to get into a restaurant to eat in New York.
Wow.
Both a bagel deli and in
Did you make them
Junior's,
show?
which
Did
is
you
in
make them
Times
show
Square.
you their vaccine card?
No,
I would have.
we had it.
Okay, here's mine. Where's yours?
I'm not going to bust people's chops. It's the law. They're following the law. I'm not going to give them hassles. They're going to spit in my food or have the cook spit in my food. No.
That would be a COVID violation right there.
You know, if you want to argue about something like that, go to City Hall. But no, I'm not.
They'll just raise your property taxes.
I'm not gonna hassle a waiter that's making $2.35 an hour plus tips.
Hey, Carl.
You know.
Ingles has just started this thing where they want you to show your driver's license and they scan the back of it with the laser scanner,
Mhm.
so they don't have to read. So they don't have to read it or whatever. And I'm like, I am obviously old enough to be drinking alcohol. Okay, that's. I mean,
We've got one of the golden pantries down here that does that. Now you go to another one, they'll just glance at the birthday. Basically, they're just looking to see if the year starts with 19.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
As of
Yeah.
this year, if your driver's license starts with 19, you're good.
You're golden, man.
yeah.
No, what's scary though is that beginning January 1st, people who were born in 2000 can now legally drink. I'm like, oh, crap.
Yeah, really.
Where's my walker?
No kidding.
Hey,
I mean, we've actually got a generation of college kids now that do not know, cannot imagine a world before 9/11.
Yeah.
hmm
Let's see. What was the other one I heard? Oh, the B-52 Strata Fortress. Okay. May be used. Apparently, the Air Force is planning on keeping those things flying until 2055.
Yep.
they're being re-engineered. Yeah, and
They will be over 100-year-old. Well, I don't know that the ones they actually are going to be running that long are going to be 100-year-old airframes, but
the design.
the design. I'm not sure. I got to look that up and see when they quit actually building those airplanes.
They have said the last pilot of the pilot of the last B-52 has not been born yet.
Well, he might be.
I wish that were true of a space shuttle.
Well, that would be 30. Let me see if you do it. It'd be 34 years.
I don't know if you can see that.
Ah,
Really? What is it?
9/11 memorial.
Oh, okay.
that's the foot.
Yeah, that's the footprint of one of the old World Trade
Okay.
Centers. Now,
They say that
this was the view from my hotel.
Ah, wow.
We were literally next door. And this up here is the new World Trade Center, which is right there. So,
now, let me ask you this, Louis. I've heard people say when they go see the footprint, the buildings, the actual footprint of the building was not that big.
no. They were very tall buildings, but they weren't. They
Skinny.
weren't that.
They weren't big. They were skinny.
They weren't a whole city block.
No.
Like,
Not even close.
Like the Empire State Building.
In fact, both of them fit in a city block.
Right.
Because they were diagonally cornered to each other, and then there were parks on the other two corners. And now the whole thing is a park, and the new World Trade Center is off-site. I mean, it's across the street off-site, but and it was weird. And Denise kind of looked at me funny. We were actually on our way to the deli to get some bagels the first morning we were in New York, and we had passed by the memorial wasn't open yet. It was early in the morning, and we were walking up the street, that the new World Trade Center is on. And I'd stopped and I took a couple of, pictures and everything. And then I told her, hang on. And I walked over and touched the cornerstone of the new World Trade Center. And she looked at me funny. I'm like, just touching a famous building like that is just adds a little bit more reality to it, to the experience,
Yes, it does.
And then she said, well, you're touched, which is true, but yeah, it was.
And did you know the height of the building?
1,700, 1,776 feet.
Yeah.
The top of the antenna.
Yeah.
I think that's a damn tall antenna on top.
Yeah. And that was intentional.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we were made a country. I tell you what, though, man, you really want to get into U.S. history, New England. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Well,
we stayed at a bed and breakfast that was built in 1810, and was still operating. We went into buildings that were built in the 1700s that were still completely functional. It was crazy. I mean, you don't see things that old here in the South. I mean, because if Sherman didn't burn it, it wasn't built well anyway, and it fell down on its own. But
thank goodness for the grandparents around Athens, Georgia, at the time that took their squirrel rifles off and convinced Sherman that he should dodge around Athens and not burn it to the ground.
Yeah.
I think it was called High Shell. Oh, should have done it at birth. No, hell, that was a crass remark. Sorry.
Well, have you ever heard of a Sherman bow tie?
Yes.
No.
It's where they took and melted the rails.
Well, they heated them up. They didn't really melt.
Heated them up and bent them into ties.
They would go over to the telegraph poles, the big telephone poles, and people on either end, they would heat up the center part, and the people on either end would grab it, hit the telephone pole right in the middle of the hot iron, and wrap it around the telephone pole until they made a bow tie looking thing. And you couldn't get them off the telephone. You'd have to cut down the telephone pole to get the rails off. And there was no way to use them for railroad rails after that. You have to recycle them. I'm reading here on Wikipedia. They say that the last Boeing B-52s were produced in 1962.
Jeez. So they're 59. The newest B-52 is 59 years old.
At least. And then they produced them from 1952 to 1962.
Wow.
And most of the upgrades are not really huge things.
I did see a documentary just the other day on the C-5, which I flew from Norfolk to Rota, Spain. Yeah. And they've just done the same thing with the C-5s. They've put a new engine on it that's 20% more efficient.
Right.
And 30% more powerful, to where they can increase their lift capacity. But they've got all new avionics in the cockpit, so it's like a brand new aircraft. But the first one went into production in 1970.
Yeah. And
they were produced from 70 to 78, I believe. I flew on mine in 78, so it was still a fairly new aircraft at that time.
I've talked to some crew chiefs on them and say every time they land, something breaks. They're just so big.
Well, they've got a whole bunch of them at the graveyard in Arizona. Isn't it Arizona? Is it Arizona?
They've got several. There's the big one. Was it Monmouth?
Yeah,
is in Arizona.
Yeah, but the documentary that I was watching, they literally, they'll check it, and if they see a part that needs replacing, it would cost $60,000 to fabricate that part from scratch. So they have to call down to the aircraft graveyard and have them pull one from a mothballed aircraft and send it so that they can put it on. And I'm like, number one, I think it should be part of a defense contract that if you buy a multi-million-dollar aircraft, that the company is required to keep making replacement parts as long as you're flying their aircraft.
Yeah.
I think that should be in the damn contract, you know?
I think you lost Bill.
Uh-oh.
He shall return, I'm sure.
And he just didn't like the subject matter.
I wouldn't say that.
But I don't get it. That hell, you can still get parts for a Model A Ford. Ford still makes the parts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sort
they
of.
put them on Mustangs.
Well, yeah.
Even today.
I just don't understand why Lockheed wouldn't make spare parts especially for parts that wear out.
Because they want to sell
struts.
C-17s.
Well, I understand that, but that's by contract. They're not gonna. It's not an impulse buy. They can't say, "Oh, well, our B-52 went down. Just get another C-17." That's not happening.
Well,
It's not happening, John.
the one problem with those big airframes like that is they get old fast. And if you look at let me go find that picture. Of
Yeah, they're
one.
flown every single day across the ocean, especially with the C-5s. You're not using a C-5 to go from Norfolk to New York. No, you're using a C-5 to go from Norfolk to Rota, Spain, or from Norfolk to Djibouti.
What about my dude? What about my booty?
I don't want to talk.
All right, there's Bill.
He's back. Bill's back.
To coin a phrase, we're not touching that, John.
Oh, what is the name of that damn place? Is it?
Oh. So how about them Braves?
Uh,
That was last month. How long y'all Atlanta fans gonna milk that one?
Don't
Forever.
look at me.
Until the Falcons win, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like that's going to happen.
Hey, Saints are playing the Buccaneers Sunday night on NBC.
I hope they win. I hope the Saints
too.
win.
Well, we've won, I think they said 6 straight regular season games against the Bucs. Now they beat us last year in the playoffs, but regular season, and we play them twice a year. We've beaten them for the last 3 years.
And is this still regular season?
Yeah.
Is Brees still throwing?
Who?
Or Drew Brees? Is he
No,
still?
he retired last year.
Oh,
He's
okay.
he's doing as a matter of fact. What's funny is he's going to be part of the broadcast team for Sunday night's game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was a couple of weeks ago when we were on Sunday night and playing. Oh shoot, who did we play? We lost.
Detroit.
No. Only Denise's Vikings have lost to Detroit this year. Oh, she was so mad. She could have spit nails. But yeah, and the Saints did a very special presentation for Drew, knowing that he was going to be part of the broadcast team. They did something for him at halftime. Wow.
B-52s.
A bunch of B-52s and
B-3 Orions.
okay.
Whole bunch of them.
Well, it looks like KC-135s over on the right.
Old C-130.
No.
Old C-130s.
No, up. Yeah, there. That looks like KC-135s with the winglets.
Yeah,
and,
you can see the refueling. You can see the shadow of the refueling boom.
yeah, the boom.
Good night, Carl.
There's the air ambulances. I can't remember what they're called, but it's like a DC-9 or something.
There's some more
Old
C-130s.
Lots of them.
Yeah.
Cargo frames got it. Yeah, cargo planes got it rough. And of course,
wow.
original F-16s.
Yeah.
Their composite frame, they had a big problem with those. Ooh.
B-1s.
Wow.
Ooh.
B-1 bombers, baby.
No, that's not B1s.
No. Those are F-8s, I think, or they're the reconnaissance.
Thunder Chiefs.
No. Crusaders. It's either Corsair 2 or the Crusaders. I'm not sure which. It's hard to tell without seeing them from the side.
And it looks like they
Wouldn't
cleared
you just
out a
love to
bunch.
walk through there, though?
You know, back in the old days, they went and cleared out a bunch of there was a lot of the stuff that they kept forever. Well, look at all the.
Oh, look at the choppers, man. A bunch of bells. Or,
Yeah.
Is that
Of
bells?
course, those are Blackhawks, or it's the
No,
Navy
really?
version. Yeah, you can tell by the tail.
Huh.
On a Huey,
Wow.
the fin would have been farther up toward the front.
Yeah.
And not quite as long. Of course, let me see here. Oh, there. What are those? That's those special forces use them. What do they call them? Little turboprop thing. I don't know what those are. Oh, that looks old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looks
really.
like almost
Old
looks like
Navy.
a TriStar, but doesn't have the nose engine.
There's twin engines. I think that's Old Navy. Hard to tell.
No, Chris
those. Yep.
Osprey's.
Look at all them Vikings.
Mm-hmm. Up one with the wings folded or taken off.
There's one with the wings folded up.
Folded.
Yeah,
Well, one's
folded.
off, one's folded.
Yeah. You can definitely tell that's a Navy aircraft if it's got foldable wings.
Yep. Got to go downstairs on the aircraft carriers.
Oh, that's those CIA planes. It's actually a twin engine Cessna,
Mm-hmm.
but modified for illegal activities.
Well, it's got those extra fuel tanks on the wingtips.
Yeah, that's just the Cessna. The twin engine
Yeah.
Cessnas had those. Yeah,
But that gives them a much longer cruising distance.
and then trainers.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of trainers.
T6 trainers?
I can't.
Looks like a
Hard to tell.
T6.
T6
Well,
or
not when you're
T38. I'm
constantly
not sure.
moving it like that.
No, those are prop
Yeah.
engines.
Yeah.
And here's a bunch of old. That's the. Is that a Huey or?
Those are Hueys.
Yeah.
No, well, I think they might be the OH-58s. I'm not sure what the Navy called them, but
Sea Sprites.
little EB. And there's your Cobras.
Yeah, those are Cobra gunships.
Though those aren't. Those are. So these are probably Hueys.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, I told you the fin was up farther.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, A-10s.
Ah, Warthog.
Now those other planes we saw earlier
Yeah.
were F-8s. These are A-7s. A-7s. Corsair. These are the Corsairs.
Yeah.
The Crusader's the bigger one.
Yeah. These are Navy.
Well, so is the Crusader. Well, it's Marine Corps.
Well, yeah, but
Kind of like Navy, but
Yeah.
with men. Anyway, let's see here. F-16s, F-16, lots of F-16. They got that composite frame, so those things wear out real quick. And then, are those those aren't no. Are
Yep.
those Phantoms? No,
Yep.
they're not. Those are the what are they called? It's a trainer jet. I can't remember what that.
yeah, it's a 2-seater, so it's probably a trainer.
Well, and it's got the red markings. I think that's the Sky. Is that the A4 Skyhawk trainer? A4D or B or something like that? Because I think those are A4 Skyhawks. Which is
Wouldn't
also Old
that
Navy.
be nice to have in your backyard where you could go to a convention someplace a little further away than driving is convenient?
I can't tell with the plastic wrap on them, but if this is the Army version, these are OH-58s. Ooh, Jolly Greens.
Yep. Those are the big Sikorskis.
CH-46s. Marine and Navy. A18s. Early models, too. Some more OH58s. Or whatever. Yeah. Oh, there, what, Sea Kings? Sea Knights?
Yeah.
You can tell by the one-sided tail.
Yep. Got another. Hey, Josh.
Hey,
Hey, they got some at work.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh, gosh. That must be the Marine version of the...
How can you tell it's laying on its side?
No, it's gunship.
Oh,
Yeah, it's either... I can't tell. I think this... Yeah, these are the Cobra 2s, the heavy Cobras, the ones the Marines use. And those look like F-18s, parts of F-18s.
Yeah, just the fuselage.
And then...
That's the tail of a C-130. Yeah.
Not sure what that is.
you all know airplane tails the way I know Betty Page's.
Another Warthog.
Yeah.
I just wonder what the Navy could have done if they flew the Warthog too.
Hmm.
More Warthogs.
The trick would be getting it to fit on the carrier.
Not really. I mean,
Yeah,
you'd have to figure out how to fold the wings, but
that's the problem. You see, you got wing mounted in. Well, no, your engines are mounted on the tail.
the fuselage. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it probably would have been actually pretty good, except that Navy would have had one more gun round they had to deal with.
Yeah.
All right, there's your Phantoms.
What's that between the Phantoms?
More Phantoms.
No, up.
There's an F-16. What's
That one right there.
That's a Phantom. Just missing the nose cone.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
Wait a minute. No.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
looks like a MiG.
it do kind of.
Almost, doesn't it?
It may have been painted that way because they
Yeah.
also store a lot of the aggressor squadron planes here. So, see, there is a F4 Phantom that's missing the wingtips, and it does look like a MiG.
Go to the left. Those starfighters?
No, T-38s.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah,
Over.
that's the ones that NASA uses for the astronauts
Exactly.
to taxi around in.
And there's,
That must be nice, man. Be an astronaut, you get assigned to T6.
ooh, there you go.
Ooh,
Is that a
That is a
U2?
that is very early
Canberra.
jet.
That is a Canberra reconnaissance aircraft, based on the British
too.
Canberra bomber.
Where's this at, John?
Davis Monmouth,
Tucson, Arizona.
Oh, okay. I missed it when my connection was getting glitchy
it's right
there for a
outside
minute.
Tucson. Yeah.
is this the boneyard?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're just doing a little tour. Ooh.
Wow, B-52s in pieces.
Yep. Cut to chunks.
Would
so
that
they
be,
get-
What?
hey, John, would that be a B-52 pickup? Oh, wow. Still got the
Yep,
Our
Vietnam
fans
tank.
are back, Joe.
80s paint job on them.
And then now let me show. Oh, the B-1Bs or B-1s. I'm not sure if they're Bs, but B-1
Yeah.
bombers.
Little lamp.
With the variable geometry wing.
Mhm.
There's your F4. Okay, what was the one I was just looking at that was kind of cool? Ooh, more spy planes. I can't tell you who owned them, but their name has 3 letters in it, and the first one's a C. Ooh, there's your C5s.
Yeah. Wow.
I was looking. Let's see. What are these? Those are B-52s? Okay.
Yeah, those are 52s. But now,
F-15.
back out just a little bit, and B-52s are freaking enormous. Now look at the C5 next to it,
Yeah, exactly.
just as big.
Hmm.
F-16s,
15s.
F-15s. F-16s, more T-38s.
What? No EM-50 urban assault vehicles?
It's up there by the general's
Garage.
office. Yeah.
Yeah.
More A-10. Oh, that is so sad. It's just because I'd be willing to bet all those airframes are still in fairly good shape.
Yeah, most of them are missing engines, though.
And they're probably shot full of holes too.
No,
Yeah.
they don't. Strangely enough, they did not do a lot of combat in places where they would get shot at. Those are A4s.
Well, that's strange considering that it's designated a close air support aircraft.
Well, they kept most of them in Germany the whole time the Soviet threat was going on. They just really didn't get shot at much. And then Desert Storm was about the only time they actually went anywhere they could get shot at.
Yeah, they got chewed up pretty good. And just flew on back home.
Yeah, they were kind of like the C what was it, C-17 in World War II?
B-17?
No, the C-17. The
No, C-17 is the modern cargo plane. B-17. Oh, C-47.
C-47, yeah. C-47. Puff the Magic Dragon. Those things could take a licking and come on home.
There was a case where a Japanese Zero was chasing one. He kept shooting it, and he couldn't shoot it down. And he emptied all his guns shooting at it. So he finally decided to do a kamikaze and crashed into it. Took out about a good 10 foot of the fuselage on the top of the plane, and it destroyed the Zero. But the C-47, even though it was missing a good chunk of its fuselage, managed to fly home.
Yeah.
And after they got it patched up, they put a Japanese Zero flag on the side of it. They credited it with a kill.
Any way you can do it.
Then
That fighter was on a platform of some sort.
Well, what? Who?
Straight down to the left, right there.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's an F-16.
Well,
No, the platform is what he said.
at the platform.
I don't know. I think that's the old, that metal strip runway stuff they used to put down?
Yeah.
The aluminum runway stuff? I think that's what that is.
Huh. I wonder why they got that one on it and none of the others.
It was there.
It was there, or it's there for.
That's where they started.
That's where they strip parts.
And so they don't lose a nut or a bolt when they're taking stuff apart.
That one, it's missing. I don't think it's got any. All these other ones have been covered in plastic and stuff.
Yeah.
That one doesn't even look like it's got a cockpit on it. So.
That one's actively being disassembled.
Hey, what is that?
Looks like a DC-9.
Yeah, it says United States of America.
That was Air Force Twos.
That's probably that look, and the wings are painted kind of that way too. Of course,
yeah, I'll bet you that's State Department Diplomatic Service.
Yep.
Time's up. Put another quarter in.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Fly the friendly skies.
Now here's where they keep all their parts. Nice.
You're going to have another recon drone flying over my house?
Yep.
Did you find out anything about that, Josh?
No, I just know it's an Air Force recon drone.
And you said
live right next to
Apaches?
an Air Force base?
Do what?
Don't you live right next to an Air Force base?
Columbus Air Force Base, but I didn't know they had reforced drone or Air Force recon drone.
Tan lines.
I have been a lazy painter before, okay? But I ain't got nothing on the Air Force, okay?
Oh, man, it's tan lines.
No, see, this is what they should have done with the B1s. Go ahead and paint the outline on runways all over the U.S. Make sure that it absorbs enough infrared to show up on Russian satellite photography, and make it look like we got a billion of the damn thing.
You know, if they hadn't decommissioned them, they could have just parked a bunch of them in lines on the airports, and the Russians would still think they were operational aircraft. All they had to do is tow them around every once in a while, put a few new tires on them. There was this really cool story, and I need to find it somewhere. But they were filming the TV series Space Above and Beyond.
Uh-huh.
And they made this fighter aircraft called an SA-58 Hammerhead. And it was an Indo-Exo space fighter. It could fight in atmosphere and it could go out in outer space. And they made, if I remember correctly, half a dozen mock-ups of this thing using old plane parts. So the landing gear underneath it was actually some old landing gear that they found surplus, and it was military landing gear. So they paint these things up, and they look cool as hell. They had them at a Marine base in California. Okay. And they were doing their scenes. And strange enough, Arlie Ermy was one of their instructors while they were doing all this sort of stuff. Okay. And they had it out there. Well, apparently the Russians out there who were paying attention to the military base drove by and saw these things and freaked the fuck out, because we had 6 of these things out there that they knew absolutely nothing about.
They just showed up.
It's just like, what?
How can they get 6 operational? We didn't even know they existed.
We've done that before with other things, you know. Only the people that look for UFOs knew they existed.
All right, guys. I've actually overstayed my my ability to catch up with my work. So,
all right. Well, thanks for stopping by, Lewis. We love having you here. You're a great part of the family.
I will post that story to Stupid O'Clock.
all right.
Good to see you, Lewis.
All right. See you guys later.
All right. Take
Good
care.
night.
Good night, Lewis.
Good night, Lewis. Ooh, breaking news. A judge rejects the Purdue Pharma's sweeping opioid settlement.
Didn't know that was part of the cultivation.
Yeah. What happened to it?
Rejected, which means they stayed the payouts.
No, it means they're probably going to have to pay more.
They rejected the settlement.
Oh, okay. Yep. Something gonna happen.
The reason they did it is because there was a provision that would have protected members of the Sackler family from facing litigation of their own. So apparently,
They ain't going to have to pay.
Apparently, they're all going to prison, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
And they're still going to be open to class action lawsuits and stuff like that.
No, they're facing criminal. Big thing is they'll be facing criminal charges.
Yeah, but you can bleed them to death with smaller lawsuits by huge numbers of people.
Well, when they already getting sued by like 5 or 6 different states and stuff like that separately.
Hey, every little bit helps.
Oh yeah.
If they ever get out, make sure they're in poverty for the rest of their lives.
I don't think they're that kind of family. I think when they get out, they'll still have millions and millions.
That's where the class action lawsuits come in. Good luck collecting anything, but you know, make them burn it up in court costs.
Well, I got 2 class action settlements the other day. from General Motors
Really?
on the ignition debacle. The ignition. Hey, Michaela,
Hey, Michaela, how you doing?
sent me 2 checks for $147. It was
Wow.
on 2 GM vehicles.
The last thing I was invited to get in on by the time the settlements, if it had gone through, because I didn't get in on it, the payout would have been about $2 per person. It was that big.
Sounds about right.
I
It wasn't
did.
worth the stamp in the envelope.
The company would have lost millions, but the people that had been wronged by the company would have gotten, the price of a pack of fries at McDonald's.
Well, I also was part of the milk settlement. The price gouging on the milk thing.
Oh,
That paid $7.50.
hey, better than nothing.
I'm still waiting on the Facebook facial recognition class action lawsuits. They claim that they were going after them a year or two ago and haven't heard anything about it.
No, it takes time.
No.
Oh,
I think we need to get everybody in the United States, all 330 million people, and sue Facebook because those are not our community standards they're enforcing.
Michaela, are you telling us you're an author?
this I just saw today. It was announced. In February, Walmart will not be doing gift cards anymore.
Their own or all of them all together?
Their own gift card.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to do the Walmart Pay app on your phone.
As much trouble as I have with phone apps, nope.
I'm gonna miss that 3 cents a gallon, but
well, go if you have a Pilot gas station down there. You
Michaela. You were super sweet to me.
Well, I didn't start that. Brian Rodman started that because she asked in her group how many people read her books, and I think it was Brian. He says, "Are you an author?"
I was ashamed.
Just teasing with her.
That I didn't, because she doesn't write in one of the genres one of the few genres I read, and that made me feel really bad. But I'll do anything I can to support her. I can't imagine now that I know her. I can't imagine any reality that could exist where she's not a great writer. So.
She's got a great imagination, so if she can get it on paper, it's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I need to talk to her. Somebody offered me an editing job today, and I want to turn it down. Hey, they promised me 50% of the sales of the book, but I don't have time. And it's not in my skill set to do that kind of stuff. So, if you're still listening, Michaela, message me and I'll give you the details. If you're interested, I'll forward the email to you, because I can't do it. I can't do it. I've got too much of my own stuff. I've got to get done.
Well, it's just that you can't do everything for everybody.
Well,
do a little something for somebody every now and then hope that they kind of pass it forward.
Well, the thing is, it's a writer whose first language is not English, and it's already got a publisher if it can be correctly translated. Basically, I think is the main problem, and it's just I'm not. I've got too much I've got to do. I've got too much on my plate.
So
Yeah.
you have to translate it from American English to English.
I don't know where this person is from.
Mhm.
It was rather formal, and I do have experience with a fellow from Italy that seems to turn out a 1,000 word story every 5 minutes.
Hmm.
But yeah, his writer credits are like 5 pages long when he sends me another story. I'm going, dude, just tell me the latest 3 to 5, okay? I just basically do the latest 3 to 5 and then go, his other credits are too numerous to mention, because they are. His writing credits are usually like 3 pages longer than the story is.
Just post a link to his credits.
I don't know that he has something linkable, but that would be the best solution.
Mhm.
If he had a personal page, I would just put that on there and go, here you go. Click over. Be sure to come back when you're through. Read somebody else's stuff too. Oh, I do say, Michaela is doing a brainstorming session last Monday night, and evidently I caught it just after it ended. And from the discussion that was going on in the panel, I figured out one quick fix for the fantasy story that I've been working on. Although I'm not working on it right now, I figured out an angle where I could go ahead further with that, because the villain in that one is really driving me nuts. I need to finish the spy story book and get that off to William, so we can get that one out of the way. If I do that, then I might have 2 books coming out next year.
Cool.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing from beginning to end, but it was a repeat. Evidently, it's like 2 minutes after y'all signed off, I clicked on it. So that's all right. Maybe next Monday night, because I love brainstorming, and when you're working on characters, that's one of the nice things. It doesn't matter what genre you're working in. Characters are characters, and character interactions are basically similar across genres. So, every villain is the hero of his own story, and every hero is the villain of the villain's story. So, as long as you can figure out people's motivations, you got a nice little wedge to drive in there to get something concrete on paper. Boy, it sounds like I know what I'm talking about, don't I? Duh. The Great Pretender. Oh.
This moment of silence was brought to you by Pillsbury.
Not quite.
Okay.
I was checking into some rumors at work and checking my options in case the rumors were true, and found out that I am much closer to retirement financially than I thought I was. Now,
Well,
I'd still like to be able to stick out the other 25 and a half months so that I can get to my Social Security a couple of months after I retire. But if things go belly up, I'm not going to be in bad shape. So Lindsay is really excited about that. And she wants me to go ahead and retire. And I'm going, well, honey, we'd have to tighten our belts a little bit, but it wouldn't be an awful lot less than normal. Matter of fact, it might be better than normal, depending on how long we plan to stay alive after I retire. I mean, we could blow it all in 10 years and live like kings, or we could try for 20 and live like we are now.
Well, I saw a report this week talking about the labor shortage, and most of it, they're now looking at the numbers. Most of it is people that have 55 and over that have retired. These entry level jobs people are filling those jobs.
At
And
much lower pay.
yeah, much better pay and all the benefits, and there's nothing coming in. There's nobody coming in. And the people, the retirees, the 55 ups that would take the part-time jobs, that would fill those jobs, are now going, I ain't going to put up with that bullshit from them people for that little money. I can live the way I am right now.
That's exactly what I found out I can do. Like I said, if I am allowed to stick it out for the next 25 months, then we'll be much better off. We might even have like 2 or 3 times the spending power we have now. But if I am forced to retire January 1st, which is unlikely, but the paperwork was calculated on that because the website would not calculate a later date. So it would be.
And you're over 62, right?
I'm 64, yeah.
Okay, so you could draw now.
I could. The normal amount, I have to wait till I'm 66 and a half for Social Security. But the pension plan and the 401k together would be comfortable, very comfortable. We would not notice a difference depending on how wild we got. I mean, I wouldn't be able to buy another house, but if we stayed like we are now, 10 or 15 years, we wouldn't notice a bit of difference. Yeah, Michaela, we'll talk.
Yeah, Michaela's talking about buying land in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Michaela, I'll give you one incentive. No income tax.
No income tax, no sales tax.
No state income tax.
Oh, state income tax. Okay. That's nice. That is nice.
But our sales tax is 9.5%.
Ours is about 7%, I think. What got me is I had to pay the property tax this week, and you only pay the property tax once a year, so it's not an inconsiderable sum. Oh, Michaela wants more information about the no state income tax.
Yeah, Tennessee is a no state income tax state.
Not in Alabama.
Where do they make up for it?
Sales tax.
Extra 2 cents a dollar on sales tax, yeah.
We have a betting place here in Illinois that. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Tennessee sales tax. What is it up to now? 7 3/4 or something?
Joe just said 9 cents.
And Tennessee has cut the sales tax on groceries to 6%. If it's edible, 6%.
Ours is 7 1/4.
I got to remember that for the green room.
We still have the state. On top of that, we have a betting place here that currently has commercials that says, if you buy this beauty rest bed and ensemble, whatever it is, we'll pay the sales tax on it. However, they do not tell you that it's not on sale. You're paying the full price, and
they just so happen to bump it up 8 feet.
Yeah, really. They just raised the price for this sale so that when they pay the sales tax, you pay exactly the same thing you would pay before. Now, what I'm hoping is that there's something that I have heard of, but I don't know if it's true or not, that once I hit 65, I can apply to have my property taxes reduced by the amount of the school tax, which is about half of what I'm paying in property taxes. Like I said, I don't know if that is true, but I'm certainly going to be checking into it. That will make a great.
They have something like that in Illinois, I know, because Laura's dad, that's the stipulation is that you have to live there. So he was getting it for one house, but not the other house, because the other house, they know he doesn't live there. He just owns it.
They have something like it in Alabama. I can't remember what it's called. Like Homestead, and I can't remember what it's called.
The Homestead Exemption, that you can get that on your federal tax, and that's here that is a set amount they just write off the top before they start calculating anything else.
Well, I was going to say, I think our property taxes should above like $450 or something.
I think the catch to that is you actually have to own property. If you don't own, if you're just renting something, you can't get the homestead exemption. But if you've gone ahead and bought stuff, and the nice thing for us is I've got it all paid off. There's no more mortgage for me. And right now, both vehicles are paid off. Both of them are getting elderly and might have to buy another car, but I bought a $200 Volvo before. I can work on one now.
Oh, don't get a sob.
I'm such a natural born smartass. What is the sob story behind that?
What? Hey, Saab is the only car pronounced right and spelled wrong.
My dad loved those cars back in the 70s.
Good night, Eleanor. Nice to have you in the room.
And thanks for the like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, when I bought the Kia van, it was the highest rated vehicle being sold in the U.S. And
I was in the military for 27 years. I just cannot see myself driving around a vehicle that has KIA plastered all over it.
Well, have you seen their new logo? They've got a new logo on them now.
Oh.
It's got the American flag on it, don't it?
No, I saw it today and I thought, 9 Inch Nails has a car?
Yeah.
Like you said, probably the KIA started to get people's.
Hey, Gary.
Oh, cool! Coming to Chattacon. Yeah, you'll get to see me and John. Chris will probably be there too. I do have my badges.
I will be the guy by the con suite going, badges.
We don't need no stinking badges.
Yes, you do. In the rules, badges, and yes, you do need your stinking badge.
Oh, I thought you said badgers.
You know,
Hey,
I
I
would love
wonder
to
if I
take.
could get into the con suite without a badge, wearing a hard hat, a
And a
clipboard.
clipboard and a yellow glow vest. Yeah,
No,
you
not with
could.
me. No.
Orange vest.
Now,
No,
if you're wearing like a maroon jacket with a little gold name tag that says like Marriott or something like that, that's the real secret.
Or one that's about badge that's about that big and sort of gold. It says City of Chattanooga on it.
Nope, I've stopped them before too.
You stop coming in. So
Yep.
what they tell you?
he
We're pretty
loves living
pleased. I said,
dangerous.
yes, I know, but I've been told nobody gets past this door without a convention badge, and that ain't a convention badge.
No, my
You know him though. So
do what?
you know him though. I had to give him a hard time.
Oh well, yeah. He may have been in uniform, but he was sneaking into the con.
Exactly. Just because he was wearing an official uniform doesn't mean he was on the clock.
Let's see the search warrant.
Now, if 4 or 5 of them showed up, you'd just go,
Yeah. Well, then they got me outnumbered.
"Don't tase me, bro."
I can handle being tased, but pepper spray, that stuff don't wash out. Okay.
That is a lingering odor right there.
Tasing only lasts for like an hour or two. Pepper spray, it's in your, it's even your con badge stings your eyes. That just sucks right there.
Well, keep your
Not that
con badge out of your eyes.
Not that I'm speaking from experience, but let's put it this way. There's one con badge I've got I don't display because it makes my eyes water.
So what'd you do to get pepper sprayed, John?
It's
It involved a blonde, I do believe.
Actually, no, she was a dark-haired woman.
I knew there was a lady involved somehow.
Did you say fake dark-haired woman?
A very dark-haired woman. But
No.
actually,
I was thinking fake woman with dark hair. I'm sorry.
But no, somebody was hassling her on the subway train, so a bunch of guys went over to help her, and apparently she just didn't like guys, period. So not only did she pepper spray the guys that were bothering her, she got everybody on an enclosed subway car. Guess who the police arrested?
You?
Everybody.
Technically, nobody else really did anything illegal except get pepper sprayed.
Yeah. Isn't that technically assault?
Assault.
If you haven't done anything, I mean, no matter how intimidating you might appear.
Those guys were hassling her, but they never touched her. Okay, they didn't make any threats or anything. They just that typical.
They were just being rude.
I can look at that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well,
When we
that's
walked
bad
over.
enough. On the one hand, she should have been able to defend herself against harassment like that. On the other hand, maybe she went a little bit too far with the pepper spray.
Yes. Well, the fact that she also hit an old lady that was on the other side of the subway car from her, just everybody crying.
So did the military training help any?
A bit.
Yeah, but I bet he forgot his gas mask that day.
But that stuff still sucks. Yeah, the military has some nastier stuff though, but not. You're wearing a gas mask, so it doesn't really matter. But yes, we did have to take our gas mask off from time to time. But the worst one we ever did is normally when they train you with CS, they either use the grenades, which aren't too bad, or they've got these training tablets, which they light them on fire, they burn, you get CS gas. But they also have, I guess you call it riot control versions of it. And the NBC room, nuclear biological chemical room, actually has, it's kind of like a flamethrower, but it's more like a bug sprayer. Compressed air tanks and a big tank full of water and this mixture that you mix together to spray CS. and it comes out as a liquid, and vaporizes and all sorts of stuff like that. We didn't use it often, needless to say, so we had to train with it. Maybe we went out there, and the guy we all put on our suits and the mask and everything like that, and he comes by and sprays everybody. We all got our equipment and everything. Then we have to practice decontaminating. The problem was, this thing's designed to hit people 50 to 100 feet away.
Oh, and he was a lot closer than that.
He was 5 feet away. Yeah, he was just walking down there spraying everybody down. Right. He had mixed it weak because he knew, we were in enclosed area, or not enclosed, but we were in a confined area. So he wasn't gonna, use the full strength stuff. But being 5 feet away, you basically got a 900% dose. Might be close to what we got, even though he'd weakened it.
You got a bath. Is what
very good saturation.
But we didn't really notice it at first because we're, wearing a gas mask and the gloves and the boots and the suit and all that. So we're decontaminating. So finally he says, okay, you're done. Says we're going to clean all this stuff up. Y'all get in the trucks, go back and do your demasking procedures on the way back. By the time you get back to the base, demasking procedures should be done. And I volunteered to do the demasking procedure, which is no big deal.
Learn never to volunteer.
Somebody had to do it, and I was tired of wearing a gas mask. So it's real simple. The first thing you do, take a deep breath, break the seal on your mask for just like 5-10 seconds, put it back on, clear your mask, take a breath, see if you smell anything, right? I smelled a little bit, and I told him, I smell a little bit of tear gas. So it's just tear gas. It ain't a big deal, right? So, but I had shaved earlier that day. And I was like, I can feel it now. I'm from the South. I'm used to Tabasco sauce. This is not a big deal. Yeah. So then you do the next part. Okay. Same thing. Take a deep breath, break the seal on your mask, but this time you open your eyes. I felt it then. Put my mask back on, clear it. So, yeah, it's still in the truck. So everybody starts rolling up the edges of the truck, get some air in there, get it circulating, right? So now I'm crying because it's, so get to the last one. Okay. Take a deep breath, break the seal on your mask, let it out, take a breath with your eyes open, put the seal back down, clear your mask. Again, I'm getting a good dose of it. Says, yeah, it's still pretty strong. Says, okay. Anyway, okay. Phase 4, you take off your mask. Oh, God. And it's like, yeah, it's still in the truck. So I put my mask back on. And they're like, okay, so now we know. That was the demasking procedure. So if it had been nerve gas, I was a dead mofo. But
so basically, you needed to take the entire cover off the truck and go through the car wash.
You ain't far from the truth, brother. Yeah. We get back, everybody gets out of the truck, and we pull off our masks and everything. Everybody's got their chem suits on, and it's like, God, we've got hosed down with this stuff. It's all in our equipment, our LBEs, our ammo pouches, canteen covers, rifle slings, helmet covers. Just everything, even our chemical suits are just they're used chemical suits, they're training suits. Everything's covered in this stuff. We go walking in the barracks and it's like it was like we threw a tear gas grenade into the barracks. We walk in and everybody's like, "Oh God, what?" We'd already gotten used to it. So it's like, okay. You guys are off for the rest of the day. Go to the laundromat and wash your shit. Right? So everybody goes down there, and we're pulling all this stuff off. We go down the laundromat. We're putting it in the washing machines, and it's like there's like all these soldiers' wives sitting around, doing their laundry. So we walk in and start throwing this stuff in the washing machine, and everybody's like running out the door. We wash it out. And we go and throw it, and they got these big gas-powered dryers. and we throw them in these big economy dryers, all our gear, the LBEs and all. We throw it in there. This stuff does not wash out. It just gets wet. As it dries, it gives off more tear gas. These are gas industrial dryers at the laundromat. Okay.
And they have vents going outside of the building, I'm guessing?
Big ones. There's 4 of these big aluminum vents on the back of the building that are just pumping out tear gas all throughout Wildfleet in West Germany, the training area there. And I mean, there are cars in the drive-through lane over at Burger King that people are in the car like.
That ain't plain broiled.
And for those of you that are watching our show now or later that are suddenly going, that was the asshole. Okay, I was not the only one. There's an entire company involved. Okay,
He was
I was just one of the poor victims. But if you ever
in other words, washing your clothes was almost an international incident.
Exactly. And for anybody, you can blame Sergeant Klein or NBC NCO for that.
I started to say, did he ever face charges for soaking everybody down?
Yeah, no offense. They should have thrown him in Leavenworth for violating the chemical warfare ban.
Was that SOP or did he just go ahead and hose you down close up for?
He just did not realize how powerful that stuff was at that kind of. This stuff was designed to be shot into a crowd of rioters, like I said, about 100, 150 feet away. It is literally. It is
concentrated.
It is weaponized tear gas. It is not. It is not the tear gas grenade you throw at people. Okay.
So, Joe Dog on 2 tacos.
And let's see, and as that was just bad. And the bad part was, even after we got everything, we hung it out on a line to dry, just air out. That's the only thing you can do is just let it wear out. And it's still, even we packed it up, took it, and it still smelled like.
I get the feeling this stuff takes about several generations to get out of your clothes at that close proximity.
And apparently they didn't. He had a whole can of this stuff, which why? I guess in case we ever get called out to do riots or something like that, they had a can of it in there, and it went out of date, and he wanted to use it instead of throwing it away. You don't want to throw the stuff away because imagine somebody in a trash truck mashes the damn thing. That's God. You imagine them poor some bitches hanging on the back of the trash truck, and they run the trash.
They wouldn't be hanging on the back for very long. Oh Lord!
Can you imagine you go out to get your trash can because the trash truck just showed up and emptied your trash. You walk out there and it's like.
Oh, there was at least once in my life where I walked through a cloud of ordinary pepper spray that somebody had sprayed in a public area. And I didn't realize until much later what actually happened to me.
We were, me and some buddies of mine, I'll show you a picture of it one day when we get a chance. But there was this, it's right in the middle of Berlin at the Fürstendamm, right across from the Kaiser Wilhelm Church. There's this building that comes to a nice, it's like the Flatiron buildings where it comes to a nice sharp corner. Mm-hmm. And it's got the rounded edge and stuff like that. Well, the second floor in this building is right next to the Zoobahn, which is the train. Back in the day, that was the main train station for West Berlin. Now that they've reunited, it's no longer the main train station, but it's still one of the big ones. And it's right next to the zoo. Okay. And then the Fürstendamm's right there next to it. So the Kaiser Wilhelm, you're looking out the windows. There's the Kaiser Wilhelm Church. There's the zoo. There's the Zoobahn train station. You've got this great view at this. There's this big corner table, big round booth corner table. Seats about 12. And that's the table we got. So we're sitting there, got this great view of downtown Berlin and Fürstendamm. We're in there eating all this Chinese food, just everybody's, and ordering these weird cocktail drink. It's kind of a joke. Everybody's ordering these weird cocktail drinks, and it was almost a joke that they brought it to you in like a goldfish bowl with like, you know, umbrellas and fruit and, you know, stuff hanging out of it. And it was like, and we were just, you know, having a big old time there. We're sitting there, and all of a sudden, all these German police vehicles start showing up on one side of the restaurant. And they've got their big armored cars, their riot trucks. We're looking, there's one. Well, something must be going on. And the other one shows up, no. There's like, we look out the window down the street there, and there's like 12 of these vehicles parked right there next to Fürstendamm. Like, what the heck are they doing? Of course, being in the military, you're like security minded. Is this like some sort of police raid or terrorist incident that we need to know about? Awesome. About then, we hear singing. And we keep listening, and we keep hearing this singing, and they sound like they're drunker than we are. Turns out, Berlin, I can't remember if it's Berlin soccer team or Germany soccer team, had just won this huge game. Okay, so all the soccer hooligans are showing up they're coming home at this train station. Okay. So you got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these soccer hooligans pouring out of the train station, yelling, screaming, tearing stuff up, throwing bricks or beer bottles or whatever. And then all of a sudden, all these riot police come around the corner. They're shooting tear gas into the crowd. The crowd's running wild. We're sitting here. We got literally ringside seats. It's like soccer riot / dinner theater. It's great. Until the air conditioning system starts pumping just a little bit of the
outside air
into the Chinese restaurant.
All right.
Oh, Lord.
Well, guys, I am about beat. I'm going to have to cut.
What?
I don't know, 30 minutes, but I might pull an Uncle Dan on you.
And go sleep? I doubt it. Not when I'm talking about tear gas. Nobody goes to sleep when I'm talking about tear gas.
I'll be right back, but Joe, if you have to leave, I know where the off switch is.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. And I'll be sure to check on you and about 1 if you're still awake. I'll
Hey, I've got to end the show on time. I've got to go to work tomorrow. So, you know.
All right. Well, good night, everybody. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate y'all.
Can't believe you're gonna go away.
Get some rest.
All right. Good night, y'all. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see y'all Saturday night.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm going to go get another beer. I will be right back.
All right. Let me see here while I'm reminiscing about my time in Berlin here. Let's see here. All right. That's that restaurant I was telling you about.
Nice.
And that is the corner booth we were sitting at, and all those police riot vehicles were sitting over here. And there, there you can see that's the train tunnel, and there's the underground part of it is the Zubon. Okay. And then there's the Zoo Palace movie theater. And back in my day, this was where the Aeroflot Airlines office used to be. Was that building there? That's where all the Russian spies went to get their money and their information done.
Wow.
And that's the Kaiser Wilhelm Church, the one that got hit by the bomb. Well, actually, it didn't get bombed during World War II, but one of the it got hit by flak guns. When the Germans were shooting at the bombers, the flak shells fell and hit this damn thing. So that's the old church. That's the new one, and it's beautiful. And that's the Mercedes building. That's the Europa Center. They had some great bars in there when I was a young GI running around that town. Kia Motors, when did they take over that shit? That is just disheartening right there. There's Kia Motors and there's the Mercedes thing. I mean, in downtown Berlin, that is just, geez.
You just got through talking about Kia.
No kidding. I'm so disappointed now. Now, that's the other thing I like. That's one of those Mercedes double-decker buses that we used to always ride on. So that's kind of cool, too. This is where they have, in Berlin, this is where they have their Christmas market, is over here in that area, all around the church. Really cool. Okay. Let me see here. There's the zoo. And let me see here. Where was I? We're down here. There's the zoo train station. There's my little restaurant. And here's where all the riders are. Yeah. So where's the cat? There's. I'm trying to remember this stuff. It's been a while. I've slept since then. Oh, there it is. You remember I was telling you about that big department store? Oh, wow. They tore down the parking structure. Jeez. That's where their parking structure used to be. And this is the department store.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Takes up a whole city. It was, for a long time, the largest department store in the world. No, that's it. There it is. Kaufhaus des Westerns. And that top floor is all food.
Looks like brick to me.
I'm so disappointed. Their Google Map car is not a Mercedes.
Got another fan in the chat.
Oh,
really?
I'll do that.
Do Spandau.
Oh, congratulations. I was about to do that, actually.
Yep. Lindsay kept going, oh, I want to show you this video. And I'm going, honey, Joe Dog went to bed. I've got ops. I need to go back.
You could have. I can do ops. You just told me, hey, I'm got to go to look at something. Go do ops.
It's okay. What she wants to show me gospel music videos, and I'm going, honey, I probably saw them all at my grandmother's house back when I was 5.
Mm-hmm. I heard a Johnny Cash Christmas song on one of our local Danville radio stations. Has been doing all Christmas music for the last month and a half.
Is it the reindeer named Sue?
No, but it was just about as strange. It was about ringing the church bells for Jim. About him, it kind of really a sad song, and it was talking about Johnny Cash was singing this song about a friend of his named Jim who was dying. There was nothing he could do, and so he went to the church and rang the church bells, and they asked him why he was ringing the church bells, and he said he was ringing the church bells for Jim. This was in a lot of the song. He would say that. And at the end of the song, he talked about Jim heard the church bells and he got better. He recovered from whatever fatal injury he had or disease or whatever it was. And so it was because he rang the church bells for Jim that Jim is still alive today.
And if somebody did that song nowadays,
this is Jim Beam. I can tell you why he got better.
Well, I've listened to my fair share of Johnny Cash songs, even the early ones, and I'll have to admit I never heard of this one.
Really? I have not. That's the first I've ever heard of it.
I've never heard of that one either. And I grew up.
And that might be the title of it too.
Now, thanks, Bill. I'm gonna have to look that up and put it on stupid o'clock.
Well, don't feel bad. I put the new George Harrison video up of My Sweet Lord, and boy, I'll tell you what, there have been more comments. I mean, not in the Stupid O'Clock group, but nationally about the new video featuring anybody and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm friends with Mike Carlin from DC Entertainment, and he got in there and he said, okay, I watched the video because it's been publicized so much. And then he said, what the hell is all this about? Because you see everybody in it. You see Ringo, you see Danny Harrison, Olivia, you see Mark Hamill in it, you see Jeff Lynne in it. It just, the list goes on and on and on of all these, celebrities doing all these weird different things.
The first time I watched it, I thought I spotted a Doctor Who actress in there, but when I saw it again, it was just a much younger lady that bore an amazing resemblance to the Doctor Who actress. So, and I kept expecting to see a whole lot more. Weird Al was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's so hard for him to keep a straight face, I swear. Ringo didn't even try to keep a straight face.
No.
But it was a very good video.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wasn't sure what to think of it because I think Mark Hamill was like one of the first people you see in the video.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're all walking around investigating these
whatever it is they never name.
Yeah, well, at first
we want you to see.
It looked like book stacking, and I thought, is this a reference to the first Ghostbusters movie or something where they saw the ghost book stacking?
Mm-hmm.
And they were going around in the circles and everything else, but then it went completely to something else entirely.
I tell you when. No, okay, I shouldn't say spoilers.
Now, wasn't George Harrison's My Sweet Lord about the Maharishi or Maharaja or Maharishi? That was I can't remember what they call it. He was a religious figure in India.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, the one that they saw in 1968.
Something like that.
Well, no,
he converted to Hinduism or whatever.
I wouldn't think so.
No, yeah, because when they all went to visit him in 68, or early 68, because it had not been that long since Brian Epstein had died. And I remember Ringo and Paul left early, but then George and John kind of stayed behind. And George was really
into it,
kind of swept up into that. But by the time that My Sweet Lord came out, which of course was off the All Things Must Pass album, his first solo, I don't think you could narrow it down to that he was talking about Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. I think he was talking about God in general, because there's a lot of songs that he's written about God, and a lot, he was the most spiritual one out of the Beatles, needless to say, but especially that first album. There's another song on there called "Waiting on You All," and it's very much a song about what God wants you to do and so on and so forth.
He was also in Traveling Wilburys, which that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was. That was one of the better super groups that ever got formed, I thought.
And he did a lot of music with Ravi Shankar.
Yeah.
Which apparently was part of oh man. And of course right after that he got throat cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I keep meaning to look and see if one of the musical instruments I can get for my music composition program is a sitar, where I can add some of the jangly stuff in there. It's not weird. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. It takes up a lot of room on a hard drive.
Yeah, George Harrison did a lot with Hinduism.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could. I hate to say this. I'm not even going to try and pronounce this guy's name because I hate butchering people's names, and it's just that kind of name.
Spell it.
Swami Vishnu Divananda.
You're right.
Divananda.
You're right.
Yeah.
Don't try and say it.
Yeah.
Sounds right to me.
And of course, he was a big fan of the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Studied meditation with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the one from 68.
Right.
Yep.
And then later on, they found out that Maharishi liked young girls.
And was
Really
also,
young girls.
And he was also very fond of other people's money.
Well, they all were. All those.
Is there another reason to start a cult? I mean,
Yeah.
Girls and money. I'm in.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's the bad part is
I know.
The older I get, they're all young.
oh, tell me about it. I feel guilty looking at 30-year-olds now. They're half my age.
Isn't it funny how when you're a kid, you wouldn't even talk to like kids that were like a year difference in age? You know, just whatever. You know, if you were in 8th grade, you didn't talk to the 7th graders, and the 9th graders wouldn't talk to you. That's just how it is. Then here we are now.
I always buck the stream. I'll talk to anybody. Got in a lot of trouble.
20 minutes. Anybody got a good subject we need to talk about?
We've been doing pretty good.
Yeah.
We can talk about more tear gas. I didn't get to tell my story.
Tell your story.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you got tear gassed.
It was by accident, but
I'll say that.
It was senior prom.
It was a little bit after that.
I hate to say this, but I am probably the only person in the room that has been tear gassed on purpose and knew it was coming. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody else has been incidentally or accidentally tear gassed.
Yeah. Like I said, somebody just fired some pepper spray in the air, and I just happened to walk through a cloud of it, and with about 24 other people at the same time. Yeah. It was an unpleasant experience, but I had done nothing to deserve it.
This was after a Alabama football game, and let's say a fight broke out, and there was probably a few thousand people strip, and let's say the cops were dispersing the crowd.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yes. And yeah. I come out of the bar and got a nice big accidental face full.
You weren't even trying to be dispersed.
I can tell another tear gas story, but it's not nearly as exciting. Let me do this share screen thingy here. All right. Y'all might find this interesting. That is Spandau Citadel in Berlin.
Oh yeah,
it's an old-fashioned star fortress.
It's old, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very old.
That goes back to the Middle Ages.
Well, 17 and 1800s. That's what.
Okay, not quite Middle Ages, but close.
Well, the only reason they build fortresses like that is for cannon. So
yep.
But that was guarding against a Napoleon, basically. Give you an idea how old that is. They were restoring it when I was in Berlin because it had gotten beat up during World War II. And of course it's old, so they were, it needed restoring. They were restoring it. And it turns out they were digging in this one area and they found a bunch of old German military crates from World War II.
Oh dear.
Which is one of those 50-50 curses. It's either something really cool or something that's going to kill you. It's exactly. So when it turns out the Germans had used this fortress to store something called White Cross tear gas.
Oh, okay. That does not sound good.
It is a military version of tear gas. It is probably 100 times more potent than what the police use. It's supposed to go into chemical mines, so that when you mine approaches, somebody steps on one, everybody gets this just horrible dose of tear gas. If you get a good breathful of it, it can literally put you into shock and kill you. It's that horrible. Yeah. They found hundreds of glass vials of this stuff buried there. The vials were big enough that they were supposed to go into landmines. And you don't just put in one landmine. Okay. You put landmines in by the hundreds and thousands.
Mm-hmm.
They'd never actually said how many of these vials they found. But that place stayed closed for almost 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, while they were pulling that stuff out. So.
Mm-hmm. That's not the kind of thing you want to go excavating with a backhoe.
Well, to this day, I mean, if you're in Berlin and you turn on the radio, okay, they'll tell you that a certain street is closed and you're not supposed to go in this area because their EOD is getting rid of a 2,000-pound bomb or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's literally like every weekend, don't go near Zargamunda Straße in the 1300 block because they found a 2,000-pound bomb while they were, digging a septic tank or whatever. And
in Lindsay's hometown, Portsmouth, England, they I think it was last year or year before last, they found an unexploded German bomb from the air raids, and it took them a while to figure out what it was. It was so old, but evidently it was still highly dangerous. So they evacuated quite a wide swath around just in case it went off. And it would have done an untold amount of damage to the places that had been rebuilt since World War II. I mean, Lindsay's got stories about when she was a kid, there were still bomb craters all over the place. And the kids would use them as part of their playground, hide and seek stuff. So, I mean, Europe really, it doesn't surprise me that there's still stuff laying around.
And knowing your wife's age, I'm kind of surprised that any of that would still be around then, because she's really close to my age, I think within a year. And I would have thought that would have been part of a vast cleanup in the 60s.
Well, things do get missed, and the rationing from the war and the rationing from the Great Depression, which hit them as hard as it hit us, and the aftermath of all of that went on for quite a while. And there's still stuff that she will cook now that was handed down to her as a family recipe from stuff they were making in the bomb shelters. You know,
Hey, they still love spam. So
well, she's not fond of it. I'll tell you that.
spam, 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 spam.
But,
Spam. That's all I have. Spam.
You know, that's where the joke came from, right?
if it involves
You know, next HallowCon, instead of a chili cook-off,
Oh, here.
we need to have a spam cook-off. Okay,
no,
just saying.
no.
Hey, we'll break in Grillzilla right. Okay. Yes.
No, I will be at the next.
You're going to get that woman really upset with you.
I will be at the next HallowCon, and I will be cooking chili.
No, I hate to tell you, unless there's spam in it, I don't want to hear it. So.
Chili and spam. Spam and spam. Chili and broccoli. Macaroni and spam.
Not even close, but nice try.
That sounds like growing up in East Tennessee in the '60s, there, Bill.
Mashed taters and spam.
That actually sounds pretty damn good.
Grandma used to have spam for breakfast a lot. I would not touch it.
My grandma
How disappointing.
My grandma used to cook spam, fried spam, every way you could cook it.
My mom used to do this. It would be baked in the oven with pineapple slices on top.
Ooh, that does, you know, that I understand that is quite popular in Hawaii.
Hawaii, yeah.
Yeah. Laura talks about that, and I just kind of give her this look, and then I start talking about having grits for breakfast, and then she gives me the same look. Oh no, she's from Chicago, so no, they don't eat grits up there. And
let me tell you, that right there and hash browns is awesome.
I'll take your word for it.
No.
I had hash browns tonight, but they got too greasy.
Hot and spicy spam with Tabasco sauce. Yeah,
I'll take your word for it.
I've never had the hot and spicy.
Yeah, that one I will leave to y'all. The normal variety is fine. Now, I remember back when Dad, my great uncle, used to take me fishing. So one of the options for lunch was open a can of spam, slice it up, put it on a couple of slices of bread with some mustard and mayonnaise, maybe a sliced tomato, and have a sandwich without cooking it.
Yes, that you had. Well, that was not that choice. You had thing of sausages or potted meat.
Yep.
The sad part is
beanie weenies and crackers,
all that stuff. Potted meat.
You're out in the middle of a lake.
Sardines.
Yeah,
sardines.
My dad loved those, and I couldn't even watch him eat them.
You remember the deviled? Oh, what was it called? Was it Hormel deviled?
Yeah, deviled ham.
Was it? Well, they had different flavor. They had that chicken.
Well, yeah, there's a bunch of different. Laura buys it for her dad still. They still make it in the little cans with the pull tabs.
Yep.
Back a long time ago, the Reed House Hotel downtown in Chattanooga, they were famous for their kitchen. Okay. And they actually used to make Reed House brand salads. Had like potato salad, chicken salad, tuna salad, ham salad, turkey salad. And they used to do all that stuff that was just, and it was just delicious for you. You know, and then the Reed House quit doing it. And it was like, oh my,
Yep. I used to be really, really fond of the wasn't deviled ham. It was the roast beef, the roast beef.
Hey, Dan, I hate to say this. Can you put your mic a little closer to your mouth? You've just been real quiet here the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, I probably got it.
There you go. Okay.
When I went to get that last beer,
Gotcha.
and I was really fond of this stuff, but it's got enough salt in it where it makes my blood pressure go sky high.
Ooh.
And the last one that I bought tasted real good, but there was this golf ball size chunk of lard right in the middle of the darn can. And I swore right then.
That was lard. That was a pig testicle. What are you talking about?
I don't care what it. I don't care what
That
it was.
Somebody's finger from the factory.
It looked like a gallstone from a whale, you know. So I decided that was one of the childhood treats that used to be really, really good, but got ruined by time, sort of like Cracker Jacks, you know.
Well, I think the thing of corned beef hash.
Really, I love corned beef hash. It's cooking. It's kind of a pain, but
yeah,
I like it fried up, really crispy.
Yeah.
I'll let Waffle House do it for me.
There you go. Oh,
Now I want waffles.
You know, I've been craving Uncle Hershon, or what is it? The Bacon Lovers BLT, the big bowl of chili, and a pot of coffee. You know,
yeah. I hate to interrupt, but
anyway, yeah.
I am being remiss here. I've got stuff that I should have done earlier, and here I am doing it now. All right, it's not gonna hurt anything.
Go ahead, be a miss. We don't care.
Well, this is as good as a mile.
That's right.
You know, a
Waffle
plate
is
of
alive.
hash browns at Waffle House, smothered, covered, chunked, whatever. Yeah, it's just everything on it, and that's like a meal in of itself, literally. So.
I'll tell you one thing that I do. Lindsay will fix me sausage and egg biscuit and hash brown patties that we buy, and a couple little sausage links. And I'll alternate between putting ketchup on my hash brown and putting salsa verde on it. And when I forget to bring my cup of coffee from my lab to the break room for breakfast, I've got a little tin of tomato juice. And on those occasions, the salsa verde and the hash browns and the biscuit go real well with tomato juice in the morning. When you have forgotten your coffee and the coffee machine in the break room hasn't worked since 1918. 2018. That was what it was.
You were right the first time.
The coffee tasted better in 1918. Let me
Property
tell you.
of the Confederate States of America.
Yeah.
That's an old coffee maker.
As long as they leave the chicory out, I don't care if it was World War I Army surplus.
That was Nathan Bedford's best coffee. Confederate brewed.
Yeah, there you go.
I tell you, no. For like 3 years, the coffee vending machine in the break room was dead, and we kept telling the office people about it, and nothing ever got done. And finally, some guy came in and was trying to get the money out of it and reload it with supplies. He had to use a crowbar to get the door open. It turns out that the door had gotten jammed, and for 3 years, nobody bothered to try and open it until this one guy, and he got it running in one day.
You know, there's always that one guy everywhere you work that knows how to get it done.
Yeah.
And everybody else is an idiot.
That you just described my outlook on life. Yeah.
Coincidentally, Dan, you were talking about your tomato juice. I just heard today is the 100th anniversary of the very first Bloody Mary ever being served, which I guess was served in Paris, France. And they said what cafe, but I cannot remember right now, so John could probably Google it.
Give me one moment. I am a Google
in the last 3 minutes that we have here, but
I bet it was.
I thought of Dan and his.
I bet it was a weak Bloody Mary.
Which Dan doesn't drink Bloody Marys; he drinks Sleepy Marys.
Not touching that till tomorrow night.
Happy 100th Bloody Mary. Paris marks the cocktail's birthday. Let me see here. Going down there.
And if they ever go extinct, it's because John drank the last one.
Okay, that's what the name of the place. Harry's Bar.
Harry's Bar. Okay.
We got a Harry's Bar here. Hey, how about that?
I had a Harry Bar, but I threw it out and bought a new one.
We're not talking about Dial.
Oh, okay.
Guys, it's about that time.
Yes, it is.
It's about time. It's about space. Oh,
good night, everybody.
Since I'm doing double duty, let's go ahead and call it and run the credits now, and that will give me time to get the next show started on time. And I'm already in the room if you're going to join us. Now, John, you're more than welcome.
I'm gonna make a run before I join you. So.
Oh yeah, go right ahead. We've still got to touch the face of God and everything. I mean,
yeah. Robert Conrad, come on, Robert. Or
Good
William,
night,
I'm sorry, William. Good night. Vaya con Dios.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand, and touched the face of God.